Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Rachel and Miller podcast here at 3 o'clock on the last day of the month. But I'm not telling what month in case we have to replay this later. So, our disclaimer is the opinions expressed on this show are the opinions of the guests and the hosts, and they may not necessarily reflect the opinions of their respective employers or people they may or may not know or they may or may not work for. And please do your own due diligence, and we are here to have a good time and share with you information as we understand it and as we know it. And with that, I'm Scott Miller, and otherwise known as Miller, and I am with Epic Realty up here in Ridgecrest. And my lovely co-host on this side, there we go, is right there, and her name is...
Hi, I'm Rachel Marino. I'm with Gratis Homes out here in Westlake Village.
And we have a guest today. We have Jackie Padilla.
Second time on our show.
Yes,
second time on our show. And Jackie joins us from 805 Escrow, and Jackie is all about the money. She has been in escrow for, she's been in escrow for 13 years. Straight out of college, she started doing the money thing.
Yeah.
Everything from accounting to the books to, so she's the money girl.
Yep.
And she's the one who you really want doing your escrow because she's been doing it for 13 years and she's all about the books. How's that for an introduction?
Yeah, that was a really good introduction. I've been in this escrow industry 13 years, which is shocking. But I love it. I mean, it's really all I know since I've started it when I was so young. I started when I was 20. But I don't think I would change it. I think I've grown so much, and I like keeping up with all of the changes, and it's satisfying, when you get that work confirmed email and, everything worked out and all the paperwork's in order. So I enjoy it. So
Jackie, that's actually a really good intro to what what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Is recently Rachel and I don't know if it was on a podcast, but I think it was down when we were in Malibu. We started hearing about this thing called FinCEN, and I'm like, what? What's a FinCEN? Yep. And even the day before yesterday, I was in a meeting with a tax collector from a county here in California. I'm like, how is this going to affect FinCEN? And they went, huh? What's a FinCEN?
Yeah.
And the last we heard up until about 10 minutes ago, this was set to go live on December 15th.
December 1st.
However, December 1st. Well, FinCEN is Financial Crimes Enforcement Network from the U.S. Treasury. It's a federal thing, not a California thing.
Yes.
And when we were talking about it, we were like, wait, what's happening? It's very interesting, and I'm going to let you talk more about it. But when I've talked to some people about it, they're like, what's a FinCEN?
Yeah.
It's a federal thing. It's a federal thing. And it has to do with money laundering.
Yes.
And as we were talking in the green room before we went on the air, the three top states where people from outside of the U.S. are buying properties, number one is New York. Number two, there it is. Number two is Florida. And number three is California.
Yeah.
And they're other than U.S. residents.
Mm-hmm.
So we're okay with that. We'll happily sell them property and sell them homes. However, let's not go launder money from other places. So, right. We don't want to do that, right? No, we don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that.
This on my other screen here, I'm looking at the U.S. Treasury badge. I'm like, I don't want to see that in my peephole when I'm looking through my peephole. That would be semi-scary.
Yeah. And I what's crazy is, that this FinCEN used to be, it was always escrow or title's responsibility to report FinCEN. And it was if there were properties, it started as over 300,000 and above. So for cash purchases. So cash purchases, $300,000 and above, it would trigger, for escrow to have to report to FinCEN. And they were also geo-targeted. So in California, it was like places with big ports or places with border, that border other countries. So San Diego was a good one. San Pedro was another one. So they were mainly geo-targeted because they figured, oh, this is probably where most people are going to be laundering their money. And then, and it became also like county effective. Well, the people that do want to launder money are like, okay, so we'll just move it over one county. I mean, if you think about it, like I'm from Los Angeles County, and Los Angeles County, there are certain little neighborhoods or pockets where you can have 1 foot in Ventura County and 1 foot in Los Angeles County. So just having that one little, step could make the difference as am I going to have to report or am I not going to have to report pretty much. So,
and those bad guys know that too.
Exactly. Yeah. So why would they would just go, maybe to, I don't know, Ventura or maybe to a different county that they knew would not be as suspicious. So, yeah, I think that is how Fenton used to work. And now with the new changes, they're going to require Fenton reporting for any amount. So there's no limit on dollar amount of what the property is sold for or what it's worth.
There was a limit prior though, right?
300,000. Yeah.
Now, Jackie, is that going to be just cash or any transaction will it be
financing? Is only cash. Yeah.
Okay.
Only required when there's, I mean, unless it's, okay. Yeah, because banking institutions, they have these policies in place where they have to have anti-money laundering systems, just because they're a huge financial institution and that's what their requirements are. So if you're getting like a loan, like from a traditional bank or from a traditional lending company, this wouldn't be triggered. It's really only for cash. And now with FinCEN, they're also going to include it if for certain hard money lenders or non-traditional lenders that have that anti-money laundering policy in effect.
So, like, I'm gonna say like land. I'm up here in Kern County. We have a lot of dirt, and where I'm at is also I'm in Ridgecrest, which is the world's largest naval base.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain governments that shall remain nameless that would love to have property right close to the military base and love to launder money right through that. And I'm using these words on purpose. In most cases, land is not financeable unless you do the hard money loan that you just mentioned, or they have a boatload of cash.
Yeah. So I think, and what's funny is that like it's going to be land that is intended to be used for residential building. And so, a lot of times we can escrow shouldn't have to do the investigation on what these people are going to do with their land, but we would be considered negligent if we didn't think about it. Right. So if you're putting if you have a big plot of land and it's around a bunch of different homes or buildings, obviously we're thinking you're probably going to build homes there. And if you're telling us, oh no, I'm just going to put like a gas station or something, it's most likely not going to be that, then that would kind of trigger or give us a red flag of like, okay, well, this person's already off the bat lying about their intent for the use of the land. So yeah, but this will not include, it will include land that is going to be for residential development. So how we determine that, I don't know. I don't know what they expect us to do if we're not going to hound down these people and track their projects. But yeah, we are held responsible to at least have that. This piece of land is around a bunch of residential buildings. I'm sure it's not going to be, a Jack in the Box or something. So yeah.
Is there a I'm going to say a event horizon on the timeline for land? In other words, could somebody say, yeah, we're going to put land on it, but we're going to do it in 20 years, or not land? Sorry, we're going to build houses on it but in 20 years. Do we know if there's going to be an Event Horizon, or is that probably still in the mix?
That I don't know, and that's a great question. That I don't know, and that's the thing about these FinCEN changes, right? That they kind of threw at us. There's so many unknowns about it, and so many like loopholes that like, you know, what if this, or if it's this scenario, or if it's this case, and a lot of like, there's no way for us to really know until somebody, another escrow company or us get into that scenario. And then, you know, we just kind of inform each other through, you know, the escrow association or something like that. But other than that, we would have no idea. We wouldn't know.
They probably don't have the ins and outs rolled out yet, which is why in this little update, it was, you know, they say it was targeted to be released January 1st, 2026, even though, you know, December of this year. They're putting it off until January 1st, 2028.
Yeah. So I think it's because like, so a lot of the big title companies, they actually sued the treasurer. Like they're kind of like, how do you expect us to collect this data? It is a lot of extra work for the escrow and title companies, at least 4 to 6 hours per file to collect.
Wow.
And
that really slows things down.
Yeah, for sure. And we have to report each, like they didn't tell us exactly how we had to report it. Like, are we going to be able to report, like if we have, you know, 30 closings in one day and 10 of them are cash closings and we have to report to FinCEN on those 10, are we going to be able to upload them one by one, or can we bulk upload them? What system are we uploading them in? All of these things. And that takes, you know, manpower to do. So these smaller mom and pop shop escrow companies that maybe have 1 to 3 employees, they'll never be able to keep up with that amount of work. And if you have to upload it one by one into the FinCEN portal, or system. So there's no way for us to manage this reporting, but they are requiring us to have one designated employee to, you know, that is going to be responsible to report these cash transactions to FinCEN through whatever portal they're going to have. And if that person happens to make a mistake, or if the escrow company is recklessly and doing it on purpose where they're not reporting these, they can serve up to 5 years in prison and be fined substantial amounts.
That's crazy.
And it's the individual. So
that's a lot of liability. That's insane. Yeah.
So I'm like, you want us to hire an employee that we don't care if they go to jail, or like, what do you want us to do?
Who wants to sit in that hot seat all day long?
Yeah.
Like, forget it. Even though this is being kicked down the road, let's pretend it's not. Let's pretend that this was happening in December. Was there any discussion on what the costs or fees were going to be for this investigation that would land on the person paying for the escrow fees in terms of the buyer or the seller?
So no, FinCEN is expecting escrow to just work for them and do this.
But is there a cost pushed down to the home buying, the consumer?
So the escrow companies or in-house title companies will have to increase their fees if they're having to, you know, hire extra
manpower,
add extra hours of work, and essentially like, but FinCEN is not, you know, paying escrow companies to basically do this job for them and collect the
I understand. So what was there an idea, let's say just, and again, this is all hypothetical and it's all kicked down the road now, but was 805 title saying this is how much this is going to cost for our consumers, for our clients? Was there a number? Or is it case by case?
It is case by case, or it wouldn't be case by case. Like it would have to be one set fee. But the thing is, like within the title company, if you have an escrow company, your fees have to be filed with the state, which is why like title companies can't really be like flexible with their fees, because the fees have to be filed with the state. So I don't think like you'd be able to add in like an extra, like, you know, FinCEN fee.
You couldn't put a FinCEN fee in there.
Yeah, I don't think that would fly. And so I think ultimately it would just make the, you know, let's say if your escrow company charges $3 per thousand, $2 per thousand, $1 per thousand, whatever they charge, that fee would probably have to go up. And that would be across the board on all. It wouldn't matter. We can't say only cash transactions, we are going to charge $3 per thousand. It has to be across the board for all escrow.
So it affects everybody no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
So
Wow.
in a weird kind of way, there's kind of an advantage to that from an escrow standpoint. Is I'm going to make a number up, but let's just say somewhere between $700 and $1,500 added to an escrow, and not per case, but in general. And because you now have to pay, so would you say 5 to 6 hours per case? In some cases,
like 4 to 6 hours per transaction throughout. When it's like, setting up the DocuSign or whatever. I don't even know if they'll allow us to use DocuSign to send out this 111 data point.
We didn't even talk about that. That's the one that got my attention.
Yeah. So how are we going to collect this data is still a question. And then, or how they're expecting us, because this is all very sensitive information. They're asking for full account numbers, full bank account numbers per person. So if you're in a trust, let's say, and you're buying all cash, and all of a sudden escrow asks, hey, I need 111 data points from each beneficiary of this trust. It's a little ridiculous. We might have to send 6 of these out to one buyer. You know what I mean?
And I'm sure there won't be any pushback. I'm sure there won't be.
Oh, people are gonna love it. They're like, yeah, here's all my information. Here's my bank.
Fun.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Rachel and I talked about this a couple of days ago, is it doesn't directly affect us as agents. However, it does, because we're going to have to set an expectation of, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer or trust or whatever, escrow is going to be asking for all but blood.
Yeah, pretty much. And think about it too, like in LA County, obviously we deal with a lot of high profile clients. So we have celebrities, we have athletes, and they want to be in a blind trust, yet we're still requesting this data from them for their personal information, which defeats the purpose of the blind trust. So it's just, I don't think, I see what FinCEN is trying to do. Like I get it, but at the same time, they don't really realize what they're asking.
It's like a great time to be a real estate lawyer.
Yeah. So it's crazy to me. Obviously we will deal with it, and we will roll with the punches, and we will figure out how to do it in the most simple way. And we're actually already talking to our software programmers about, simple ways that we can execute this if it comes down to it. But, it's just, that's another cost. We're going to have to store this data and keep this data safe. So we're like, escrow companies are going to have to up their security pretty much on their softwares and all that stuff, their emails. And a lot of the smaller escrow companies will not be able to afford the type of security that you need to have to be able to store this information. So
111 data points.
Yeah. And I actually have Galen just sent me the form. It might be revised, but for the buyers and the sellers, because sometimes sellers are going to, have to fill something out also, all the data questions. So it's 111, but some of them are like, first name, middle name, last name, and that's 3. So
and then if you answer this, yes, you got to answer all these, and then if not, you move on. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, but where it gets really invasive is that it's asking for full bank account information, including account numbers, and it's also asking now for citizenship status, which I thought was really interesting on why they want to know that now. It was never required before, and quite frankly, escrow doesn't really care. It's not really our business.
The federal government does.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really interesting thing that they're adding in there, especially considering everything that's going on right now. So I thought that was, kind of invasive for them to ask.
And it may or may not matter whether this person is or is not a citizen, but if they are not, it may lead them to some other questions in terms of where money's coming from and what's going on with proceeds. Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And have you guys seen the Cartel Cowboy on Netflix?
No, but that sounds amazing.
Documentary about a certain cartel, and it like the owner of 805 Escrow, she watched this and she's like, this is why Finson is doing this.
Is it a documentary or is it like fiction?
Like a documentary. Yeah. And so this cartel, basically they were fixing horse races, and they got to be really good at it, and then started they bought this ranch in Oklahoma, huge property, and they were basically breeding horses and doing all this stuff and adding more and more to the land. And they were funneling the money or laundering the money through that real estate. So that's where it just like all clicked. And it's like, okay, well, that is why Finson is in place, right? So you have to watch it. It's like really good. And then it'll kind of like, it'll dawn on you like, oh yeah, okay, I can see how people could get creative with this, but they were in a trust. So I think that's why Finson is now, considering, or they're not considering, they are requiring trusts to report to Finson.
Can't hide behind a trust anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think
it only takes one person to screw it up.
Yeah. But
I'm wondering if my friend Ryan is still watching. He texted me that he's watching. He sent me a picture of us on his screen. So if he's watching, say hi, Ryan.
Hello, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Thanks for watching, Ryan.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to throw that in before we get way off track.
Well, thank you.
That's
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting. Like when I talked to the tax collector, she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" She had no idea.
Yeah. I think people are not really talking about it yet because there's so many unknowns, and it's very like, we just got the update that they're postponing it. So I just think that, a lot of people are fighting this. A lot of title and escrow companies, they don't want this responsibility. They don't want this change. So I feel like they are going to keep postponing it hopefully, because I mean, how are we supposed to deal with some of these things they're requesting us to do?
Right.
It's a lot of logistics.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna pivot a little bit in our last 8 minutes so Rachel doesn't yell at me or throw things across the state at me. When it comes to, actually, this is going to be a multi-pronged question / statement.
Okay.
When someone's doing a FSBO, are they able to use they still use an escrow company, right?
Yeah, actually. And I just opened one today, actually, for sale by owner.
Did you give them Rachel's number?
I didn't. Why, Rachel, is that your specialty? Do you work with a lot of potential?
She does now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. This scenario, the realtor, it is the seller. So he's a realtor out in the Valley. He's selling his home in Westlake. And so he is representing himself as a FSBO. And then the buyer is like a neighbor. So yeah, but we do deal with those a lot. I happen to get them very often from my lender clients that, they just, for whatever reason, the seller doesn't want to use a realtor. And most of the time it's like a tenant is purchasing the home that they're already leasing. So the contract is just very easy, like going. But we just tell people like, hey, if you want to do it for sale by owner, perfect. We are a trusted, reliable escrow company to be able to handle something like that. We have so much experience between all of our escrow officers that, we've seen it all kind of. So we feel that the clients can really trust us and trust our guidance on, we don't handle anything when it comes to negotiation, but as far as the paperwork and handling the money properly, then we could, we're 100% reliable.
Just as if there was an agent.
Correct. Yeah. So the only thing that escrow can't do is help with negotiations. We're not like, helping in that aspect, but as far as respecting the contract and making sure everything is clear, and then collecting all the documents, executing all the documents, making sure everything is set up properly, and then holding the funds and dispersing them, obviously.
So here's a yes/no question for you.
All right.
Transaction coordinators for agents, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good.
What?
The transaction coordinators are our friends.
Either or? Which one do you like better?
What do you mean?
I don't understand, Scott. Maybe it's because it's just not my thing. I don't understand Miller, but you understood. I just didn't understand Miller. But that happens a lot where I don't understand what the hell he's talking about.
I like our transaction coordinators that we work with because sometimes agents are too busy and they really can't respond in the time frame that we might need.
I see now. I get it now. Thanks for bridging the gap, Jackie.
Rachel usually speaks Scott really well, but it's because I wasn't wearing my glasses. That's what it was.
Okay, now I get it. Thanks,
Yes.
Thank you.
In a perfect world, what? And yes, I'm kind of pigeonholing you, but not really, because I'm giving you an out. A perfect world, which is open for interpretation. What's the quickest you could do a cash transaction on land?
I've done, God willing that the prelim is beautiful and clean.
Right, exactly.
I've done 3-day cash transactions on any land. Yeah, on any type of property. I've done even a commercial one, and it was really hard. But
good for you.
Yeah, it was like a 14-hour days of work and just all day, just making sure everything was on track. But it is possible to do a 3-day closing. I do not suggest it, and I do not think you should bring that to your escrow team because they are not going to be very happy about it. But as
long as you bring something nice and cold to hand them when
right.
Not cash, but nice and cold liquid.
Yeah.
What's the longest escrow you ever had to deal with?
A 2-year escrow, and it closed, and then the sellers sued the agents. So it turned into like all the subpoenas and everything, and like it was a nightmare. It felt like it was like 4 years because
oh my goodness,
through the court cases, even if it's a closed file, escrow still has to be involved in sending documents, and there was even like a mediation. It was like this whole thing, and it was it was a nightmare. Honestly, there was like 7 it was like 7 attorneys that were involved representing 7 different buyers for like this huge estate. And so it was a nightmare. It was a mess, but not because of escrow. It's just a lot of people involved.
If you had 3 things, let me rephrase it, 3 things that an agent can do to make your life easier as an escrow officer, 3 things. Pop, pop, pop.
3 things to make the escrow officer's life easier. I would say opening emails are really important in making sure that they're drafted to give escrow as much information as possible with, seller contact information, HOA information, all of that, and giving it to them in that opening email. I would also say another really important thing I think that can help is just making sure that the clients, if they're not tech savvy, that they're able to complete their DocuSigns and get it in on time, or like remind them to get their DocuSigns in on time. And then because getting that paperwork back is very important. And then also I would say, I don't know. I mean, I just think that more appreciation, reviews for your escrow company, making sure that they're, that they can get more business and all of that, referrals is the best.
3 excellent points and good question, Miller.
Yeah,
all of your questions were good.
Yeah, look, and look at that. It's 3:30 on the button.
It goes by fast. Jackie, we love having you on. Can you be like one of our return guests like every month or so? Because you're really great.
Thank you. Yes, I would love to. We can talk about whatever topics you guys would like, but there's always fun stuff going on. So I'll be here.
How can people get a hold of you, Jacqueline?
Yes.
So I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. You can find me there. Also, I can send you, if I don't know if there's like any tag or anything, but I can send you my contact information, my digital card, and we can put it in the comments or something like that.
Sure.
Great. And remember, I told you that's the hardest question of all. How can people get a hold of you?
It is. Yes. It's like simple, right? Oh, just tell me.
I forget. I literally have to write it down now because I know Miller will ask me and I'll go blank.
Yeah.
And then she'll say things that aren't accurate.
It makes no sense at all.
So, Jackie, thank you very much for joining us. And is there the best contact number for someone to reach out to you would be?
Yes, it would be my Follow Up Boss number because that's kind of how I keep everything organized.
Sure.
So I use Follow Up Boss, and if anybody ever, if anybody else uses Follow Up Boss, it's the best. So it's 805-568-7989.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask that same question of Rachel, although it's kind of scrolling along the bottom of our page. Rachel, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Email me at rachel@gratishomes.com. You can also check out my website, rachelmoreno.gratishomes.com. Check it out. We've got some great properties on the market right now.
Hey, you have a property that anybody who is over 55 and wants to do some work on a property, I would say it's probably one of the lowest price homes in Ventura County.
That's true. It is a mobile home park.
Okay.
It's in Ventura. It's the 55 and up community. It needs some work. It's priced well with that needed work in mind. If you're interested, take a look. Let me know.
Awesome.
And you can reach me at 760-264-3501, or you can also reach me at sellingkern.com. And with that, ladies, I will bid you farewell. And until next time, and
awesome.
I'm going to say, I'm going to hit a button that's going to say thank you. Watch, ready? And go. Yay!
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.